Great. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I'll give a presentation. Great. Thank you. So, yeah. Thank you.
But I will say she did respond from the special meeting. Oh, yeah, it's for,
Mobility.
it's for signs and for getting home. We then plan on.
Andrew, do you have these meetings on Thursdays so you can do the, huh? All the food and everything?
Works out well. Actually, we were a little worried that it might create an issue if we've got a lot of marketing. Like,
Sure.
so for sure, we used to have on Wednesday.
I walked through it, it's nice. Some good food over there.
There's some good food. A lot of work.
Cheesecake on a stick is something I would probably partake in.
It's like, it's safe on urban limit. A lot of families, a lot of people out there.
It's good for the queue.
It comes up. Okay. Didn't already say goodbye to you once? Just wanted to farewell tour.
Yeah.
He's here on Monday.
Don't come in for. That how it is stated.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the City of Pleasant Hill Architectural Review Commission meeting for Thursday, October 16th, 2025. May we have the, thought we did a roll call before the pledge. Oh, okay, well, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. Now roll call.
Commissioner Brandis?
Brent, yes.
Yes.
Here.
Oh,
No, did I?
you sure that?
Oh, Brent. Sorry.
Commissioner Patari?
Yes.
Commissioner Weir? Here. And Chair Nelson?
Here.
Commissioner Kapoor is absent.
All right, next item on the agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to address this commission on an item or topic that's under the jurisdiction of this commission, but not on tonight's agenda. So do we have anyone who would like to address the Architectural Review Commission on a topic not on the agenda? All right, seeing no one, we'll close public comment, move on to item number 5, the minutes from the September 4th, 2025 meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move to approve them.
Second? I wasn't here, so.
I can second.
Commissioner Brandis? Commissioner Patari?
Yes.
Commissioner Weir?
Abstain. I wasn't here either.
And Chair Nelson?
Abstain. All right. Item 6 on the agenda is presentations. 6.1, a resolution recognizing the service of Commissioner Ben Johansson on the Architectural Review Commission. Is there a staff presentation?
Yeah, no, I'll just, nothing formal, but I'll just say tonight we're congratulating Commissioner Johansson, who served 7 years on the Architecture Review Commission. I'll just speak for myself to say it was a pleasure working with him. Some of the more notable projects that he worked on included 401 Taylor Residential Development, 85 Cleveland, several downtown projects, Oak Park Residential Project, and also our citywide design guidelines and objective design standards. So was definitely involved in many projects, many more in addition to that. So just want to congratulate him on his 7 years of service.
All right, thank you. Would any other commissioners like to say anything?
It's been great having you as chair this last year I've been here. So thank you.
Yeah, I've just been 2 out of those 7 years, but it was a pleasure just having you on the side.
Yep, and I would echo those comments, Ben. I've always also appreciated your attention to detail. A lot of times you'd bring things up that was, this large on page 27, and it was always good to have that very keen eye as part of our meetings. So we're adopting a resolution though, so we're going to take a formal
Yes,
vote. Okay.
Formal vote, yep.
Do we have to make a motion to adopt it? We don't have these very often.
Yeah, it's follows the same process.
Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion to adopt the resolution recognizing Ben?
I will make a motion to adopt the resolution recognizing Ben.
Commissioner Johansson will be a little more formal. Second?
I second the resolution.
All right, Commissioner Brandis,
Yes.
Commissioner Patari,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
and Chair Nelson.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Ben. Oh, well, actually, hold on. I should have asked Ben if you want to come up and say anything.
Never been over here. 7 years. No, it's just been an honor to be able to serve my community in this way. It's been enriching for me personally, professionally, many ways. So been grateful for this opportunity. It's also been encouraging, and I'm just glad to know that through the 7 years, there's been many other highly qualified commissioners that have come through, and I've appreciated all of their work, and I appreciate you all stepping up to do this role and carry it forward. So, and also staff. I mean, it's great to live in a city and work with a city where there's kind of stability to the staff. There's high quality staff, so I've appreciated that. So thank you, and I'll see you all around.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.
All right. Next item on the agenda, public hearings, item 7.1. This is application number ENT 2025-0021, Purcell Operable Gate and Sign Monument, 800 Ellenwood Way. Do we have a staff presentation?
Yes, thank you, Chair Nelson. Okay, again, this is an after the fact permit request for a monument sign modification as well as a motorized vehicular gate. This is at 800 Ellenwood Way. And the picture you see on this cover page shows the two items that we'll be reviewing tonight. So the sign permit request includes new copy and color at an existing signed monument. And I would also point out that the existing monument sign was permitted back when the property was developed. However, according to today's current standards, it is legal non-conforming due to an insufficient side setback. The architectural review permit portion of the review is for the gate. So any structures that are placed on a non-residential site require architectural review permit. This is a new commercial grade swing gate system. It was installed with a 16-foot width and a 6-foot height. But I would also note that our fire department would require changes to this gate in order to increase the width to 20 feet minimum. And the finish on the gate is a black powder coated gate and posts. And we'll look at some of the images coming up here. Here's some site context. So this property is tucked way back into the corner of the Ellenwood development area. It's accessed via a pretty long driveway that branches off of the Ellenwood Way and Longbrook Way intersection. On the images, I've also tried to highlight just in a general sense where the gate and the sign are located. There's an easement at the front portion of their property, and the Marriott Residence Inn, which is adjacent to them, also uses that easement to access their parking lot for their clientele. And but once you get to that gate, before the gate, that easement ends. So the gate is not in the easement, and we'll look at that further as well. I would also point out that this site is zoned Professional and Administrative Office, or PAO. So we'll start with the sign monument. This is an existing monument again. You can see it on the left in its previously approved state for the Boy Scouts of America. Had their logo on it. On the bottom, it also had some information, left ahead, and the 800 for their address. The sign monument is 6.5 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and 18 feet deep. It was approved with 6-inch letters above and 4-inch letters along the bottom for the information and the 800 digits. I would add that because this monument sign is legal non-conforming, an owner of a non-conforming sign per our ordinance is required to make the sign conforming if they want to make any changes or alter the sign, with the exception of changes in sign copy. So what's proposed in the middle is a new color with the new copy. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to allow the change in color because of the non-conforming status. In looking at some archived street view imagery, we see that the applicant actually at one time painted the monument structure gray. And so staff's recommended condition of approval would be to allow the copy change, but to paint the monument to match the original concrete color. In that sense, it's not changing, and you're only changing the copy. Let me move on to the next slide. Could you hit the next button, please? Oh, it's delayed. Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay, so next, the swing gate system. So here's an image that was provided by the applicant, and it shows the different components of the system. So starting from the left, you have the keypad with some protective bollards around it. Next, moving up to the top, there's the gate motor, which is a approximately 3-foot tall housing that encloses the motor. And then you obviously have the gate itself, and then the gate posts flanking that gate once it's in the closed position. The applicant's been keeping the gate open, I believe, while they seek approval of this gate system. And then on the right, that is a plot plan that was provided as well, just to show that there's an easement, but this gate is located outside the easement, wouldn't conflict with that as it swings inward. The gate system in and of itself is more than 100 feet away from the Ellenwood Way public right-of-way, and we'll look at that as well. Shannon, this isn't working for me, but could you advance the slide? Here's a look at what the gate would look like from the public right-of-way. I went ahead and came up with a graphic to give you a potential visual impact. Reason being is that gates are generally discouraged throughout the city by staff. In our residential design guidelines, we discourage the use of gated facilities in residential communities. This property is zoned PAO, but it's surrounded by residential communities. And one of our design guidelines is that structures should coordinate with its surrounding environment and should match the different patterns and characteristics of the environment. So I just wanted to give the commission a visual graphic or example of what it might look like with that gate closed from the public right-of-way. Here's another look again. This is driving up their driveway and basically sitting at the front property line. You can see the driveway on the right off to the Marriott Residence Inn, and then directly in front of you is the gate, and then a visual comparison that's been created by staff. And that would show a slightly larger gate. So instead of the 16-foot wide gate, that would be 20 feet approximately, as directed by the fire department. You can also see the monument sign there to the right. Because staff doesn't generally support gates, and if the commission were to consider maybe an alternate location, staff had some conversations internally about if there would be an alternate location that could be considered. And one alternate location would be up at the top of the driveway, so northward, as I've indicated there in the left-hand picture. There are some parallel parking spaces along the side of the driveway, but once you get to the top of the driveway, it flares open to their parking facility, the actual parking lot for Purcell International. And so an alternate location that could be considered if the commission could support a gate would potentially to be in this location, which would have a far less impact visually on the surrounding community. Again, to look at some of the design guidelines we considered for non-residential properties, our guidelines do talk about structures, parking and circulation areas. They should recognize and relate to the surrounding built environment. And structure placement should facilitate pedestrian activity and convey a visual link to the street. In this situation, there is no sidewalk that parallels the driveway. And so any pedestrian activity that were to take place would need to use the driveway. Again, in multifamily residential, as I suggested, vehicular gated projects are discouraged. Moving on to the sign, there's a handful of sign guidelines that did find the sign to be in compliance with. It's efficient and advertises the business clearly. It's very simple and concise messaging. Colors are simple and basic. The monument sign is located in a landscape planner, and the monument sign matches the design of the primary structure on the property. Staff did recommend a condition of approval that some low-profile flowers or shrubs be added in front of the monument structure, which is also encouraged by our design guidelines. And there was no vegetation at all present at this time. So discussion items for tonight surrounding the gate would be the appropriateness of the gate, given the site and its compatibility within the greater neighborhood. And then is the staff recommended gate location a more suitable location? For the sign monument, the ARC can discuss painting it to match the original concrete color, as well as adding some low-profile flowers or shrubs around the base. And with that, staff's recommendation is that the commission review the proposal and provide direction on the issues raised in the staff report. If the commission determines the project could be approved, staff recommends that the commission accept the categorical exemption from CEQA and approve both the architectural review permit and the sign permit, subject to the attached conditions of approval, with any modifications that you'd like to add this evening. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Do commissioners have any questions for staff?
I'm sorry, I might have missed this in the beginning. Did they state a reason why they want this gate?
Oh, yes. And the applicant is here to speak to it as well. The gate, their main purpose is for safety and security on their property. They've reported that they've had multiple incidents with members of the public, trespassing, loitering, dropping litter. There's been several or many calls to the police department to handle these issues. And that's what led them to request the gate.
Does it have any continuity though? Because I just see a gate, but nothing next to it. So basically it's pretty much open on either side of the.
That's true. So the property is not gated, just the vehicular access. So in the street itself, but you could walk around the gate. You just can't drive a vehicle when it's closed.
It's not going to stop any kind of unpleasant activity there by adding a gate there. I think it's just a visual barrier, I suppose.
Visual deterrent. Before we go any further, I wanted to state for the record that Commissioner Kapoor did join us.
One more question. The side setback of the monument sign that is proposed right now is non-conformant, right?
Yes.
When I look at the approved monument sign from before, I mean, visually it looks the same. Am I missing? By the way, I didn't get my packet, so
Yeah.
I'm flying
The
blind.
sign monument structure is identical. It's the same structure. It was approved at a time when there was no side setback requirement for a monument structure, a monument sign. And it was part of a PUD at the time, part of the Ellenwood development area. But it was rezoned, and now in the current zoning, with our current zoning ordinance, it's non-compliant, non-conforming.
So in these cases, typically, given that it was pre-approved and then the new setback requirements came later, won't that be grandfathered in, like something that was already built?
It is, so it's grandfathered in to a certain extent. It's legal non-conforming, so it can stay.
Okay.
And our ordinance allows an owner of a sign that's not conforming to change the copy on the sign. So in this case, we've got a new business. You can change the name on the sign,
I see.
but you can't make any other modifications to it.
So the color is one of those things that falls in the category which is not.
Correct.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Regarding the gate location and the staff recommendation to move it back, was there discussion with the applicant?
Yeah, we did bring that idea, the possibility up to the applicant. And we also checked with the fire district. The fire district was okay with the idea. The applicant, though, didn't support the idea when we brought it up.
Just one more thing on the sign itself. So the planting, is that being proposed and how to maintain? I mean, is the plan to maintain the planting with, or
Yeah, so, the condition of approval that we recommend is that they submit something to planning staff or the zoning administrator to review. That would be a small landscape plan, if you will, for that area. It's a small area, and so the idea would be that there would be some landscaping in there to complement the sign monument. Mhm.
May I also ask, I personally prefer the client's color scheme of the sign. Is there, can we override the staff recommendation over here?
Unfortunately, there's no way to override it. It's codified in our
Got it. Okay.
ordinance.
I have seen Commissioner Brandis reach for the button a few times, so.
Oh, no. So the sign is able to be painted. It wouldn't have to be sandblasted, reconstructed. It could just be painted, a change from the color that it is right now.
Yeah, our zoning administrator supports the idea of painting it to match the original concrete color. So they wouldn't have to sandblast the paint.
Okay.
And Commissioner Kapoor, I did forget, there is a possibility. So the applicant could pursue what's called a major sign adjustment. That would be a separate application, and it would actually be reviewed by the Planning Commission if they wanted to seek modifications to a non-compliant sign. They'd be getting approval for this sign monument with a reduced setback.
This would, however, if they pursue, this would, however, go to planning, right?
Correct. The ARC has the authority to approve a minor sign adjustment, but this would be a major sign adjustment for reduced setback.
Okay.
Mhm.
On the gate and the fire district requirement, I mean, am I correct in stating that this gate can't stay where it is? I mean, in its current configuration, it can't remain because it violates the fire code.
Correct.
So it can potentially be modified at its current location to meet the fire code or be moved as staff recommended. Okay,
Mhm.
thanks.
And they do have the turning radius once they get inside.
They don't, yeah, the fire district just needs there to be a Knox box so they can gain access through the gate at any time.
But once they're inside, they do have.
Once they're inside, there's adequate turning radius.
whatever
Yeah,
they need.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was there any communication with the property residents and property management or ownership, just in terms of this? That might be an applicant question.
Purcell International is also the property owner.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions for staff, I would invite the applicant or the representative to come on up.
Thank you very much. Do I need to turn this on? It is, okay. Nice to meet everyone. My name is Skylar Kangas. I'm one of the co-owners of Purcell International as well as the building at 800 Ellen Way in question. And I kind of wanted to go through a little bit today of who we are as a business. When we purchased the building, and maybe just a little bit of the conversations that Andrew and Haley have been so kind to help me understand after the fact when putting these in. So I know we talked a little bit about the sign and a little bit about the gate, but about Purcell International, we are a business that's been around for 71 years. Obviously, I haven't been there that long, but it's a third generation family business, women-owned business. My wife actually is the president. I'm an executive with the company as well. My brother-in-law is a vice president. My father-in-law is a chairman. So we moved from Walnut Creek to Pleasant Hill in 2021, purchasing the Boy Scout building. When we purchased the Boy Scout building then, there were some things that obviously needed to be redone or to beautify as we came into the property. And the sign was one of those things that we didn't want to change too much to be able to keep the copy the same. But as you can see from the color changes and things of that nature, when you put the gray in with the gold letters, it was really difficult to see. So what we did is we looked at the surrounding area, and there's a Residence Inn that is on the east side of us, and they have a black and silver sign. It's more of like a dark smoky gray. So we painted it that color, hoping that it would be just fine, and didn't think about it. So that's just one part of kind of the signage I wanted to bring up. We only have 20 employees that come into our office. So what we do as a company is we import canned goods for the grocery store chains in the US under the grocery store's private label. So it's a lot of sitting at a desk, it's a lot of being on the phone, and it's a family business and we're very close. So the impetus of going from where we were for a couple of years and then putting in the gate is that we've actually worked with the Pleasant Hill Police Department and an officer by the name of Nick Filippini. And the Pleasant Hill Police Department has to come in and out of our property 1 to 2 times a day. And he brought up to us and said, why don't you put a gate in? And we said, well, that's a good idea. That's something we should look into. So we went to the neighboring property in the Marriott where we do have kind of shared access as you come into the property. And her name is Tracy Collins and she's on Visit Pleasant Hill. She's actually a chairperson there. She said, that's a great idea. We're all for it, but I'm not going to be able to get Marriott to do it. Is that something Purcell would want to take on? So more time kind of passed. And as we got more complaints from our employees, kind of like more of an HR problem, we took it seriously and we went down that path. So I did write something here that's a little more professionally written that I'd like to share as to the reason why the gate was going to be put in. So we do understand that motorized gates are generally discouraged under the citywide design guidelines for the multifamily, but not so much for the PAO, as there's no guidelines for that. So I sent an email to Andrew saying we respectfully ask that the city reassess the necessity of a gate in our specific situation, giving ongoing security and safety concerns. So we put in a camera system around the building as well. So our top priority is our employees, as anybody would want, right? And being a family business, it means the world to us. So the health and safety is vital, and any visitors we have or vendors that we come in, we want to make sure that they're in a safe space as well. So in the absence of a gate, we've encountered a few issues that are quite numerous. Yes, repeated instances of vandalism, unauthorized individuals using the parking lot for drug use during business hours and after hours. We had an incident a year ago of stolen vehicles. We have break-ins. We actually had one 2 nights ago. Damaged property, which I have a lot of photos of. Non-employees occupying parking areas, including blocking the entrance access, leaving trash, clearing out their apartments, dumping their furniture in our parking lots, near our dumpsters. With that illegal dumping, there's been couches and trash and hazardous items that are placed in a PG&E covered area that drops on our transformer. So these incidents required intervention from, like I said, the Pleasant Hill Police Department, and they patrol quite a bit. And the officers have verbally expressed appreciation for our efforts to install a gate, and as well as I said, the adjacent Marriott. So we're more than willing to make the necessary modifications to the gate for the fire code. No problem there. That makes complete sense to us. The knock box is already there and put in place. Regarding the alternate location, and the reason that I pushed back a little bit for that is as you come into the property, as you've seen, it's a flagship lot. There are 10 parking spots on the right side as you come in. So if we put the gate where the proposed area would be, those 10 spaces are taken up quite often by RVs that stay there a long time, people that park overnight. We don't know what kind of happens with that. It might be for the local area, but we just don't know. So again, due to the health and safety of our employees, I wanted to make sure it was in the spot that it was, or at least petition for that. So for those reasons, I kind of wanted to just talk through both of those and the reasons why we went that way. We didn't want to put in a gate. We don't want to pay the money. We're not a big business, but it made complete sense, and here we are today. So I thank you for your time and would be more than willing to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have questions?
How does a gate operate? I mean, do you have card readers that all?
Yes, we
employees
do. So
carry
it's a
and-
fob that you would have.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not turned on yet. Each employee would have their own kind of like garage door opener. And then there's going to be a few different gate codes that you would have when you come in. So if, let's say, we have a lot of packages come for the UPS or DHL, they would have a code that they could be able to come in where the door would open and close.
And how would you handle the general security? Because now there's nothing beyond the gates.
Yeah,
How
so-
are you gonna stop?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a great question. I think a lot of it stems from people driving in and just thinking that it's another lane going somewhere when there's an actual business being had. It's funny enough today, a nice gentleman was in there cutting off cactuses because he saw it from the highway, and he said they're $30 to go buy at the store. It would have been $90 for him to buy the cacti he wanted. So he cut off 3 pieces and asked if it was okay. And I'm not here to start anything. I said, sure, go ahead. Like, it's not a big deal. But that's the positive piece of it. There's a lot of negative aspects that have happened that are more frightening. We do have a lot of security footage after we've put in. We import things from a lot of Asian countries, and Thailand is one of those. And one of our vendors was nice enough to give us a Thai spirit house that we put outside of our property. And within 2 weeks, it was vandalized and completely broken and shattered. So I get walking in and out might not be, but in conversations with the officer, he feels like a lot of the driving in and the break-ins and things where people might go back there and do nefarious things would at least stop that.
So I see that your building is quite far from the street. It's really recessed back there, so it's not visible, and I can understand why it might be attractive to people who are doing activities that they shouldn't be doing. Do you feel that by restricting the vehicular traffic, but not the foot traffic, that's going to solve your problem, or at least help your
I
problem?
think it will help the problem for the larger things that the employees are most afraid about. When you come in at 5 a.m. and there's a car there, I mean, I have a lot of pictures of just things happening, right? There is probably no way to wall off the property from the homelessness situation around the area. What they did originally along 680 was plant a lot of cacti all the way along. I say cacti from Minnesota. I think it's cacti. But planted it all the way along to try to keep folks out. But there's still a lot of, there's still people that walk through as a thoroughfare, right? I don't think we're ever going to stop that. And it's, who am I to say where you can live or what your life's like those kinds of things. It's more so the breaking into the cars from other cars stealing that we have on video. It's more so the RVs that are parked, which we don't know what they're doing, those kinds of things. So no, it wouldn't stop it fully, but I think it would be a big step in the right direction.
I have a question. It might be more for staff. So you mentioned that there are these 10 parking spaces along. Are they? Sorry? Yeah, are they for your business?
We own them. So
Oh,
we
okay.
own the whole property from where the
Okay.
gate is back through, and those 10 parking spaces in the, I'm sorry if I interrupted, if you wanted to.
No, that's fine. Okay, so they're yours. They're
Yeah,
not.
so that's the thought, is that none of those are ever open because they're close enough to the Marriott Residence Inn that I think a lot of people park for free, which is, again, not my prerogative to say one way or the other. I don't know. But those 10 spaces are a part of our property. So if we move the gate, then those will still be used by someone who's not our employees.
Right.
And just to clarify, these are parallel spaces.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
But so you think that maybe people like staying at the Marriott or like mistakenly think that those are available to, or guests there or whomever?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to answer that without really fully knowing.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Do I think it's definitely, it's not us, so it's anyone neighboring. It's some of the
Okay,
cars at the
yeah.
same time, and sometimes it's new cars, sometimes it's an RV that's plugged in. A gentleman washes his car right there, so he plugs in somewhere to get water and then washes his car.
Okay.
But yeah.
Any other questions?
Just in terms of the aesthetics, thank you for sharing that visual of what the gate would look like. Have you considered, or are you able to paint it?
The gate?
Yeah, is it just?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to change the gate anyway from 16 to 20 feet. I mean, that's a consideration we'd be more than happy to have a conversation
Okay.
about. Whatever color you feel like would be justifiable in it. Like I said, the residence inn that's there has a lot of black. I walked quite a bit to try to make sure like visually things still look aesthetic. Even driving in today on Boyd Street, there was a gate, right, as it moved open and closed, and it was covered by certain things, but still open. So open to the conversation for sure. I just think all I really care about is our employee safety. So if that can be figured out, then I'm all for doing what we can to make it work.
Oh, one question. Are you inclined to pursue a major sign adjustment? Like, are you committed to the color scheme, or are you open to the staff recommendation?
I'm not open to it, but I'm not going to go down the path of a full reconfiguration because I feel like it might open the doors for changing something that really we only wanted to change the color for it to be more visible. And if the copy's fine and it's just the paint color, then we would comply. But I agree with you to your point. We just did it so that you could see it better because some of our vendors and some customers that come to visit us don't know what left ahead means and couldn't see our signage with the gold with the silver background. So we did the dark color and tried to make it work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, looks like we don't have any for you.
Okay.
So we're just gonna chat about it.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And this would be the time in the hearing when we open it up to public comment, but there is no one else in the room. So we're going to go ahead and close the public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion. Not everyone at once.
So as I mentioned before, I like the scheme that was presented by them, mostly because of the visibility, but I do concede that the color of their current building and the signage would go more uniform with what staff is recommending right now. And do we have any room for changing the color of the text, if not the background? Just so they can get more visibility, because it seems like visibility is what they were trying to address and maybe a higher contrast text.
So our non-conforming sign section states that you cannot, so an owner cannot alter the sign other than a change in sign copy. So that means any alterations to the previously approved sign, other than just copy changing, is not allowed.
Okay.
And so that would include the sign design characteristics, the monument structure color, the sign letter colors,
I
the
see.
sign letter heights, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aside from that, like if we accept that, I think I am more inclined to acquiesce to the request of having the gate placed more forward. I mean, they own the property. Those parking spaces should be used by the employees that are working in the company. And it does take care of safety. The gate that is proposed has visible, like it has visual porosity, so it's not completely walling off what's happening behind. And they will make it 20 feet to comply with fire requirements. So I'm good with that.
Okay. Other comments?
I agree. Leaving it in the same location just due to the safety, the liability makes a ton of sense in this kind of area, especially being so close to the freeway and accessible and on that side of the road. Again, compliant with the fire line safety is the big key. I had brought up paint color just because that was a dark black. It might look much darker if the sign is painted lighter. So that was just my call out. I don't have a huge opinion on that, but just if it could be like powder coated or changed.
So I think for me, the staff recommended gate location is what I would support. And the second point on having some greenery and how do you maintain that greenery over a period of time.
Okay, and
I think you want.
Any comment on that?
Let's just hear all the comment kind of, and then,
okay. So I do agree with the color change on the sign and adding some foliage or landscaping there. I think as far as the location of the sign, because you do own the entire property and there are people who are not associated with your company who are parking on that street, I think the location of the gate where it is now is preferable.
Okay,
Yes, apologies.
just for recording purposes,
Vice Chair Patari, you asked about the foliage, and that's something we can definitely do. If you'd be so kind to show the monument, if you could.
Sure.
There's no water that runs to it.
Mm.
And the bottom where the original from 1991 shows the left ahead and the 800. I would just be concerned that if anything grows up, that it would block that visually. So more than happy to put in, you can see we put chips around the outside and tried to make it nice. But if there's recommendations for that without getting too tall, more than happy to do that, or decorative rock or something of that nature. So just wanted to comment, more than happy to do that. But thinking about blocking would be my only concern.
Sure. I mean,
Thank
I understand you'll have to pull in a whole new irrigation line there. But any kind of, I think, decorative rock, some kind of river rock or something that adds some value to that
Okay,
area,
thank you.
I think makes more sense.
my opinion is I do see value in a gate, even though people can walk around it, because you mentioned that that there's this illegal dumping, like people aren't going to carry a sofa back there. You need to have a vehicle to get some of these larger items back there. And obviously being able to drive in, drive out very quickly. And I mean, I guess we all are on board with the gate, but I just wanted to make that comment. I'm sort of agnostic on the location. My sense from hearing everyone is that the current location is, I think at least 3 of us support that, 4 of us support that. So sorry to Pinty, but and then, it's gonna be modified to comply with the fire district. The color, I mean, do we have a consensus opinion on black versus some other color?
I would leave it to the property owner.
Leave it to the property owner?
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
Okay. So, which I presume would be black, the color it is now. Okay. And then what are the other items? The color, I mean, the ordinance doesn't allow much flexibility. I mean, it gets repainted gray, really. And then, I mean, I guess my only comment would be, I mean, what's the original color? I mean, maybe some flexibility on the actual gray tone to get some contrast if that's what they're going for. I mean, clearly the photo or the simulate, I mean, painting it to match concrete is, there could be lighter or darker shades. So I wouldn't be averse to fiddling with it a little to be able to get more contrast and still meeting the intent of it being the quote original color. And then with the landscaping, I agree I agree with the applicant that, I mean, planting, there's text at the bottom, so it could very easily be, unless it was like a ground cover, that stuck to the ground and there's no irrigation. So, but I think that the rock, some sort of decorative ground cover that isn't vegetation, I think would be something that we should require.
And to your point about the color, I think concrete, I mean, you can always say there's white cement in concrete, right? It's lightened up a little bit. And
Yeah.
you could still keep you don't have to go black. But again, it's just an opinion right now.
So something like a ground cover, or the combination of river rocks and maybe some shrubs or flowers to flank the sides, just so it looks.
Shrubs, they have to pull an irrigation line.
Yeah, I would say nothing that requires irrigation.
And they would have to pull in right all the way from the back.
So our only respite is decorative, river rocks and some kind of decorative stones.
I mean, can we leave it open, like non-vegetative ground cover, and leave it open to staff to, choose something that's attractive? Or is that too vague?
No, I think that's appropriate for the situation. and up to the commission.
And then we were discussing, is there flexibility in what is concrete colored? Again, for the contrast?
Well, I think that, to abide by our code, it would need to do the best job to match what was there originally, because really no colors permitted, no color changes, no alterations to the sign are permitted. So, but I think the ARC could allow them to paint the sign rather than sandblast it, because we're talking about just different ways of representing a color.
Okay, thank you.
So could you still say if it replicates kind of white cement out of the concrete, does it
I think it has to be
follow the
more-
intent of being a concrete base?
I think it has to be like the concrete that was close to the concrete that was
But
there.
when they did it originally, it would have been much lighter than what you see now, right? So you can make the argument that it was, if you
Oh, that
wanted to
that it
replicate
weathered?
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
Well, we've asked, our condition would include, that the applicant provides a color sample to staff first, and we make sure we're all on agreement before they move forward with repainting it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the original color of the concrete,
Right.
the left picture.
Right.
So-
it was much lighter.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so, maybe my sense is that we all feel like there should be some effort to help with the contrast and still remain within the spirit of the ordinance.
Agreed.
Okay. I don't know, it sounds like, I feel like we're generally in agreement. Would someone like to make, oh, I'm sorry.
Aside from one deviation for the location of gate, but I think everybody else agrees pretty much on all the other items that the staff wants us to discuss. Are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if anyone would like to make a motion.
So I'd like to make a motion to include non-vegetative ground cover for the sign, except the location per the applicant of the gate and the color scheme of the monuments sign per staff recommendation, only to encourage more contrast, if whatever is possible within the prescription of the city's guidelines.
So gate in the current location, but modified as required by the fire district. Non-vegetative ground cover to be added, and
And we have no issues with the color of the gate, right? Black. is
Yeah, I
what
think-
has been-
Yeah.
Okay.
We're leaving it
Right.
for the applicant to designate whatever color seems most suitable.
and then returning the monument sign to its some
Requested,
semblance of its
yeah,
original
proposed.
color.
Original.
Yeah. With contrast of the letters in mind when that color is chosen. Does that sound good? Is there anything else? All right, so do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Brandis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kapoor,
Yes.
Commissioner Patari,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
and Chair Nelson.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. Item 8 is staff communications. Do we have anything?
Nothing's-
Okay.
Nothing specific, no.
Okay. Upcoming projects and future meetings.
Again, nothing specific to report.
Was there October 30th off the table?
Yeah, I was
now?
going to follow up with you all. It's looking like we will have a special meeting on October 30th.
Okay.
We will.
Okay.
Notices have not gone out yet.
Okay. Does anyone on the commission have any comments or questions? Okay, then I guess we would be adjourned until, or to the special meeting that's planned for October 30th.
Correct.
Okay, so with that, we'll adjourn. to special meeting of the Architectural Review Commission anticipated for 5 o'clock on Thursday, October 30th.
Thank you.